In this video we will explain about the data allocation directives DB and DW. DB directive. DB means define byte, allocates and optionally initializes a byte of storage for each initializer. Format is variable name, DB, initial value 1, initial value 2, initial value 3, etc. etc. Example, num1 db5. This will actually create a variable num1 with 1 byte of storage and initial value 5. That is num1 with 1 byte of storage, initial value 5. Then another example, num2 db question mark. Suppose if you are not planning to give initial value, then we can use a question mark here instead of initial value. So this will create 1 byte of storage corresponding to num2 variable, and there is no initial value. Then another example is msg1 db. Then we have listed a number of initial values. That is why here initial value 1, 2, etc. So character H, character E, character L, character L, character O, character $. They are separated by comma. Then in this case that will create 1 byte corresponding to each initial value, and that will be identified by using this variable name msg1. Another example, msg2 db hello. Just like a string, we have put all these characters into single quotes and inside the two single quotes. This is actually same as this previous one. This will also create a string like this with bytes allocated corresponding to each character within the string. That is 1 byte for H, E, L, L, O, $, and that will be identified by msg2 variable. Okay, it's same as msg2 db, same as writing msg2 db characters, comma separated characters. Okay. Then another directive is DW directive. That means define a word, allocates and optionally initializes a word. That means 2 bytes of storage for each initializer. Format is variable name DW, initial value 1, comma initial value 2, comma etc. This is same as the DB, but the only difference is here one word will be allocated for the variable. Example, num1 dw5. This will num1 dw5, that will create a variable num1 with 2 bytes of storage and initial value is 0005. This is a little endian format is used here. Okay. Then num2 dw question mark. Here we are creating a variable num2 with no initial value. That is why we will put a question mark here. So num2 that will have 2 bytes of storage and there is no initial value. Then another construct we can use in our programming is arrays. The format for creating arrays in MASM is array name, type, number of elements in the array, then a directive dupe, then a bracket, initial value, bracket closing. Example, file name, this is our array name, db 1 byte array, then how many elements? It is 10 elements. Dupe, that indicates array, then initial value is $. So that will create a byte array with 10 elements and all are initialized with dollar. Then another example here is password db10 dupe question mark. This will create another byte array with 10 elements, but there is no initial value, so we'll put a question mark here. So this is case. Then this is just like equivalent to character password 10 in C language. Then we can insert this type at the position of type. We can use DW also. So marks DW 50 dupe 0. So this will create an array with the name marks and 50 elements. Each element will have 2 bytes of storage. With initial value, all the elements are filled with initial value zeros. Then another statement is attendance DW 50 dupe. Here this will also create a word array with 50 elements, and there is no initial value. So in both these cases, this will create a word array with 50 elements. Then total storage will be 100 bytes, because each element needs 2 bytes of storage. Here also 100 bytes will be allocated, because each element will need 2 bytes of storage or 1 word of storage. Okay. There are a number of other data allocation directives also, but we are just discussing these few directives, because in your lab you need only these directives. Okay. If you are interested, you can refer to the other directives. Okay, thank you.